And hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you. Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are joining us from. We have people from all the continents joining to the meeting, and we are super excited and happy to have you with us today. We really hope that you enjoy the program for today and that we are super excited to actually have you in the fifth cohort of the Change Agents program. So I'm going to start by sharing our agenda for today. We will have a packed agenda. So we will start with the opening remarks by our president, Ms. Sohaila Hayek. Then we will have an icebreaker. So please have a second device ready, either a phone or a tablet. Then we will have a keynote speaker and a small Q&A section. Then we have a panel to understand the impact of the Change Agent program. Then we will have a small program overview running by my colleague Gloria. Then we will learn about the certification process that the Change Agent program will bring on board for this fifth cohort. Then you will have an opportunity to go into small groups and kind of get to know the team that you will be working with and your champions as well. Then we will share about what we have discussed during these small groups. So you will have a time to share about your impressions and how it was meeting your teams. Then we'll have a call to action done by our General Secretary, Mr. Carlos Zambey. Finally, we'll go with the next steps, what is coming, and in the end, we will have an amazing group picture. We already have 88 participants in this meeting, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing one. So now, without further ado, I'll give the word to our president, Ms. Sohaila Hayek, the president of the World YMCA. Sohaila, please, the floor is yours. You're muted, dear.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Congratulations to you, Cohort 5, and welcome to this launch event.
Sohaila, you're muted again.
Can you hear me? Am I heard? Okay, I'll start again. Congratulations to Cohort 5 and welcome to this launch event. I'm aware that there were many applications that were submitted, almost 3 times as much as we could handle. And they were all by some extremely qualified candidates. So you guys who are here, you must have done something really amazing and worked really hard to have the kind of profile, the outstanding profile, to be chosen by the selection committee. Tough competition, so congratulations again. Your cohort of 120 change agents from 57 countries will be joining the 750 change agents from 67 countries who already graduated and have gone on to do great things for their local and global movements, including becoming national general secretaries and presidents, and even executive committee members of the World YMCA. In fact, recently in Estes Park, Colorado in the USA, Marie-Chris Saladriaga presented about your cohort and the program. So at the end, I asked for a show of hands of all present to see how many were change agents. And it turned out that not only Marie-Chris herself, but 5 out of 11 change agents of the board members were change agents. So I know in my country, small country of Lebanon, from the 2 board members under 30, 1 is a change agent and is leading the way to foster in change and improvement to our programs in many areas, including interaction with the youth and changing the way we communicate with the world around us, and even influencing our outreach programs in an innovative and positive way. So you too are destined to be impacting your YMCAs in a positive way by the time you graduate, in ways unforeseen by you or us. The change agent training that you will be going through will be a truly transformational program, and it will make that impact possible. You see, you'll begin with acquiring tools and developing skills to positively impact your local movements, and hopefully carry on impacting the national and finally the global movement through the transformation 360 that you'll be going through. You'll develop your capacity for advocacy to be able to influence change. You'll acquire skills to develop projects and help the world by taking part in the implementation of Vision 2030. I know you all know about Vision 2030, and you know that it has 4 pillars of impact: community well-being, meaningful work, a just world, and sustainable planet. And programs for each of these pillars are to be implemented at 3 levels within the YMCA, with the staff, and then with the constituents of YMCA, and finally on the national and regional level. Your 21st century skills will be the key to enabling you to help realize this transformational Vision 2030 and its 4 pillars, reshaping the world from what you see today to what you want to see in the course of your lifetime. You know, I often use the Lego analogy when I want my listeners to see what I mean about ordinary actions intentionally put on top of ordinary actions to create an extraordinary result. Those Lego pieces are very colorful, shining, and interesting. But when you have a design in mind and intentionally put them in a certain way together, you get an exceptional result. You create an extraordinary new thing that was unseen just by looking at the individual pieces. So it will be with your training as change agent. You will have to work hard to fulfill the requirements of this year-long course. And your work will be like shiny pieces of Lego. And at times, the task might seem too hard or too time-consuming, or maybe even unimportant. But never forget that you're putting those pieces of Lego together to create an unforeseen, extraordinary result. You're being trained to do nothing short of changing the world around you and farther afield. So take heart and give it your best, because the results will be spectacular. And I'll be there in June 2024 to congratulate you on your graduation and bask in the pride of having you joining the group of advocates for Vision 2030 to change the world. Your ordinary pieces of action resulting in an unforeseen and fascinating new impact. As you know, change agents have always been the instigators of change. Your predecessors were active during the COVID crisis when most people were frozen in disbelief and demoralized by the news around them. Those change agents got together to create an online safe spaces to help all in need of companionship and discussion of events and their repercussions and possible actions to be taken to mitigate the effects of this pandemic on their lives, relationships, education, and careers. Youth-led solutions were the bastions of innovation for new ideas on mental health, meaningful work, and climate action. Now, what tomorrow will bring, no one knows. But what's for sure is that you and your fellow 800 change agents will be equipped and ready to guide us through whatever it is that we will face. You know, I bring you these greetings from Washington, where I am blessed to be with my 3 grandchildren for Easter in a few days. And when I think about all the crises we face today and what may come tomorrow, I really worry for my little one. But here, today, seeing you and your young leaders, seeing your enthusiastic faces, I take heart. You know, Margaret Mead, a well-known anthropologist who studied human behavior in different cultures, she famously said, a small group of thoughtful people could change the world. Indeed, she said, it's the only thing that has ever changed the world. And I think of you, the World YMCA change agents, as that small group of people who can and will change the world. And I can't wait to see the results of your work. And as always, we are here to support you in all ways possible. So in closing, allow me to congratulate you again for having been chosen and wish you the best of luck in your studies and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sohaila, for those amazing words. I'm sure everybody, I've been seeing the faces of everybody, and it's been amazing to see those happy faces. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I forgot to actually introduce myself. So I just want to say my name is Marie-Chris. I am part of the World YMCA staff, and I'm actually proud to be a change agent of the first cohort as well as my colleague Gloria, who will introduce herself a bit later. So we are happy to be part of the World YMCA staff, and we will be leading this path with you through the Change Agent program. Now I want to introduce our friend Ange. Ange is the Executive Manager of Youth Services for YMCA Victoria in Australia, and has been a volunteer and staff member for the Y for over 30 years. Ange has worked with the global movement in many capacities, including producing and directing the opening and closing ceremonies for World Council 2022 in Aarhus, and most recently has been part of the working group that has been developing the Change Agent program for Cohort 5. So we have been really, really happy to have Ange on board in the team, and now I will leave her to lead the icebreaker. So Ange, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marie-Chris. I would love to start by just quickly paying my respects to any Indigenous people, past and present, and also any First Nations people that are here with us today. I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri land in Victoria in Australia today. I'm going to take us through a really quick icebreaker, firstly to make sure that everyone's awake. I know that some of us are joining very early in the morning. Some of us, like those in Australia, are joining very late in the evening. So let's make sure we're all here and present and switched on. This one's going to be nice and easy, I promise. It will not be the last time that we ask for your input throughout this process, but it will probably be one of the easiest times. So it's not going to be too taxing on your brain, but I do need you to get your phone or your tablet out, whatever device you have, aside from the one you're watching this meeting on potentially. And you're going to go and scan this QR code so that you can get to menti.com. That's where we're headed to. We've got a couple of fun questions for you if you can log in there now. So just take a moment to do that. And we're going to start with a couple of really easy questions just to make sure that it's all working okay and everyone's on the right page.
Thank you, Ange. And just quickly, I also put the link in the chat just in case someone is having issues with the QR.
Nice one. Thanks, Marie-Chris. So just hit that link in the chat or scan the QR code and it should get you there nice and quickly. And when you're ready, team, we'll switch over to that page so that we can see our first question. And you can see you've got the first question here. I hope a nice, easy one. When was the YMCA founded? I'm really hoping everyone knows the answer to this, but it could be a little bit tricky. So jump in there and click on the answer that you think is the right one, and we'll see how quickly. I can see we've got June 6, July 6, June 6. We've got one front runner at the moment, but we'll wait just a little while and see how many answers we can actually get on this one. How many people have we currently got in the meeting? Let me see. We've got 111 people currently in the meeting. So let's see if we can't get to even 90 to 100 people answering this question. We can definitely see we've got a front runner here. My maths is telling me, not that it's great maths, but my maths is telling me we're not quite there yet with the majority of our people answering. So we'll just give you another couple of minutes. This is really just to make sure that you're on the page and you can make the menti.com work for you. And I can see some people actually answering in the chat as well, which is great. We're getting a couple of votes there for 6th of June, 1844. I think we've got a pretty clear winner here, people. Pretty clear winner, June 6th, 1844. And very happy that that is our clear winner. Obviously, everyone's been doing their homework in the lead up to our meeting tonight? So for the sake of time, we might keep going. Let's jump to our next question. So now we've got the hang of it. 82% got the right answer there. So our next question, another nice straightforward question for you, multiple choice. What sports has YMCA created? Baseball and basketball, soccer and volleyball, or basketball and volleyball? What are the two sports that the YMCA has created? Much like our last question, we can see a big, quick front runner here. And some answers in the chat as well, being basketball and volleyball. Fantastic. All right, we are all well on board with the menti.com. This is great. And also fantastic that you all know some of these key pieces of your YMCA history, which is awesome. So let's jump across to the next slide if we can. The next poll on Menti. And what I would love to know is, what is the funniest or craziest YMCA souvenir that you have received? So this is where you can go in and type your answer. And I'm really looking for some interesting things here. I know when we get together, we like to bring different gifts from our different YMCAs or share YMCA souvenirs. And I know over the years, I've got some really, really fun ones. I'd love to know what you have received or given someone else perhaps. And I can see YMCA gummies. I remember getting YMCA gummies at an event as well. What else have we got here? Bottles, a model YMCA tea car. Okay, whoever wrote that, I'm jealous because that is really cool. For those of you that were at 175 in London and saw the actual YMCA tea car, I'd love to see a model of that. A hand puppet, a YMCA hand puppet. That's awesome. Biscuits. Okay, a YMCA keychain lightsaber. I really need to know who's handing out YMCA lightsabers because I want one of those. Socks, YMCA boomerang. I think I can guess where that one might have come from. I can see in the chat that people have received YMCA t-shirts. It's always fascinating to see what different people bring from different countries. And when everyone gets together for the global gathering of change agents, it'll be fantastic to see if there's some unusual and fun souvenirs that people bring to the party. Swimming towels or swimming cloth I can see in there. A raincoat inside a ball. Gosh, these are amazing. A rocket-shaped stress ball. A pocket knife. Wow, YMCA pocket knife. I haven't seen that before. Phone wallet. Incredible, incredible. YMCA bucket hats, they're always very, very popular. Tissues. Look, this is fantastic. Like how great to see this many things that we can slap a YMCA on as a reminder of some of the incredible times we get to spend together. Amazing. And last of all, can you name one word that describes YMCA for you? So we can see some words that are already in this space. And in a word cloud like this, we're going to see the words that get used the most becoming the center of the word cloud and being the biggest words. So I'm really excited to see some of these words popping up, like community, love, friendship, family, empowering, change, incredibly relevant for the meeting that we're having now. Youth-led, inclusion, collaboration, support, sharing. This is all fantastic. If this is the ground that we have for how people are presenting themselves to the change agent cohort, what you're bringing from your YMCA and what you're bringing from what the YMCA means to you, what a fabulous start that we've got today. And I can see in the chat as well, I'm seeing words like young, I'm seeing words like love. I can see someone's written home. For so many of us, the YMCA is home for us, isn't it? And leadership and fun. I think that's really key as well. We want to make sure that this is a really enjoyable process and that we're all here to have fun as much as we are to create really incredible impact in our communities. And I can see in the chat as well, someone saying family, which is just beautiful. That's fantastic, guys. Feel free to keep contributing to that space. And this will be a beautiful word cloud that we can refer back to as well, to see where it was that we started, what people already feel about the YMCA in their own environments, And let's see whether we can bring some of those values and some of those beautiful thoughts to the change agent process and program. So that was just a really nice, quick, let's get everyone involved, let's get everyone engaged and talking to each other on menti.com. And with that said, we've got a lot to get through this evening, so I'm going to hand back to Marie-Chris.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ange. That was a really fun icebreaker. And it was great to see the last part. I think many of the words that came out in that Mentimeter were also mentioned by our president, Sohaila. And it's great to see that the YMCA means so much actually for everybody. We also got a picture in the chat from Mike, who got a small car, like it's a toy, and it's also YMCA branded. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of that one. You might have to hold on to that pretty tight, Mike.
Yeah, I one that I found funny was the socks, like YMCA. I've seen ties, and if you see Sohaila, she's wearing like a scarf, a YMCA scarf. But socks I've never seen, so that's funny as well. But yeah, I think we can see crazy souvenirs. I know the gummies from YMCA Germany. I've been to Germany. I did a 1-year internship there, and they are very fond of the gummy YMCAs. So that's very cool. So we are now going to get ready for our keynote speaker. He will be joining us in a couple of minutes. So I ask you for your patience. But in the meantime, I would like to know in the chat if you can tell me who of you is a first-time change agent in your country. So if there are prior cohorts in your country, that's good, but let us know who is the first-time change agent in your country, if you know, or in your local YMCA. Perhaps you come from a local YMCA and you are the first change agent that is coming on board. Let us know. We're happy to have you all. So you can use the chat to let us know who's coming for the first time, or who has friends also that are change agents. Maybe someone recommended the program to you. Let us know. That would be really nice to hear. In the meantime, I also would like to welcome our General Secretary, Carlos Zambi, who has joined us today. He will have a little space after, as you saw in the agenda, right by the end of the meeting, he will join us. But Carlos, welcome to the meeting. It's really great to have you here. And as you can see, we have over 110 people logged into the meeting. So this is really exciting. We'll see now if Kevin is already online. Let's see some messages on the, so Martha, Sarah says, Sarah Bremer, who is now in the executive for the World YMCA, recommended the program. That's Amanda, great to hear that. Claire says, a colleague from my YMCA in Southwestern Ontario has been a change agent, but unsure of the cohort. That's okay, great to hear. Mahina is a first-time change agent from her local YMCA. Great to have you here. Nathan is the first time assisting the onboarding session change agent as a young in his YMCA. So that's amazing. It's great to have so many stories, to have so many great young leaders within the program. So now let me see, I think Kevin is coming on board. If not, we will go to the next session maybe. Give me 1 second, just some technical issues. Let me see.
Kevin shall be here in a minute, Marie-Chris.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Gloria. Oh yeah, then maybe I can take this time to also introduce my colleague, Gloria. Gloria is joining us from Kenya. She is also a change agent from cohort 1, and she is my colleague at World YMCA. So Gloria, you can have the floor and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Marie-Chris. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's really a pleasure to connect with you all finally virtually and put a face to some of your names who we have been in touch with in the past few days. And I'm very much excited to have you on board, engage you and advance your work or your change agent journey and see how best we can be able to align the program that we have ahead of us for you, together with the different partners we'll bring on board. So it's a pleasure to have you all today, and greetings from a very hot and warm Nairobi in Kenya. So we have our our partners from Generation Unlimited, who are going to join in a couple of minutes. Thanks, Marie-Chris.
Great. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. And it's so nice to have you here with us today as well. Yeah, I don't see Kevin, just still. We're gonna try to make sure. In the meantime, we can maybe as well, you can let us know in the chat how many years you have been with the YMCA. Years, months, the time that you have been with the YMCA. Type on the chat 2.5 years. I see 4 years. I know, wow, 10 years there. 11, 20 years, Martha, of course, you're an oldie already. 13 years, oh, great. We know, because this was, of course, one of the requirements to have you as part of the cohort, that you are very engaged participants within your local, your national YMCAs. 14 years, 16 years, wow, that's amazing to see. I'm sure that many of you have been through many programs within your YMCAs. I've been in the YMCA since I was 6. I am now 34, so you can do the math of that. And I've been a volunteer since I was 14 years old. So the YMCA is also my second home. I'm really proud to be part of this organization that does so many good things around the world. See, 5 years, 16 years. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, 31. Who's 31 years? Maybe Carlos? Mike. Mike, you also have the lead. Great. Awesome. We have now Kevin joining us, and I will immediately give him the floor. I will introduce him now. So Kevin is an entrepreneur and executive. He has operated at the nexus of the private and public sectors throughout his career, spanning education, technology, human capital, and international development. Kevin, prior to joining Generation Unlimited as CEO in 2021, Kevin served as the CEO of Right to Play, an international development organization that works across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia to protect, educate, and empower children and youth. So Kevin, we are really happy to have you here with us, and please, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Marie-Chris. It's wonderful to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm so happy to be here today and to have an opportunity to spend some time with you. I understand that we have a really diverse group of young leaders here who are part of this 5th cohort of the Change Agents program, YMCA National General Secretaries, Area Alliance representatives, change agents, team champions, and other esteemed colleagues. So thank you all for taking some time today. Special thanks from me to Carlos Sanvi, who in fact I got to spend an hour of time with this morning, just talking about his really exciting view and strategy for the future of the YMCA and how they have youth at the center powering that vision. I'm really excited that we get to spend the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes together today. Why? Because I'm always so inspired by young people's ambition, your passion, your ingenuity, and I'm sure today is going to be no different. I'm going to make a few brief remarks, and then we'll get to what I think will be by far the more important part and the more exciting part of the session, which will be a Q&A, where we can engage and interact a little bit. As we all know, today, 1.8 billion young people are inheriting a very unequal playing field. A world where talent is equally distributed, but opportunities are not. And that's why I believe it's so important for organizations like YMCA, Generation Unlimited, to invest in young people like you, to help build your leadership skills and unlock the opportunities for yourself, for your community. Oh, somebody I think may have come off mute there. For your countries and for the world. I've seen it time and time again, that young people often facing the most difficult circumstances, when given just the smallest helping hand, are able to achieve truly extraordinary things. Young people like Calvin Shikuku, who I got to spend some time with at COP27 last year in Egypt. Calvin grew up in the informal settlements of Nairobi, and he took a very small opportunity to apply to a Generation Unlimited entrepreneurship program in 2021. He had an idea for a social enterprise to engage young people who were at that time unemployed to collect organic waste, transform them into organic briquettes to replace some of the dirty energy used for heating and cooking in his village. He won the competition, he won a $10,000 prize, and in the last 2 years, he's created more than 50 jobs and he's processed more than 10 tons of waste in his community. I'm sure all of the young people on this call have similar stories and visions for impact, and I'm excited once we get to the Q&A session to hear from you. In my role as the global CEO of Generation Unlimited, I travel around the world. I meet with young people in all corners of the globe, many facing seemingly impossible odds. But what continues to both amaze me and inspire me is, despite the fact that these young people are facing these extraordinary obstacles, they actually are not interested in what I sometimes call admiring the problem. They know the challenges they face, they know them better than anybody else, but that's not what they want to talk about. They want to talk about opportunity, opportunities to skill up themselves, to volunteer in their communities, to start a new venture, to literally change the world. That's why I'm so excited to see that the Change Agents 5.0 is investing in what I think the world's greatest asset is, the potential of young people, to support young leaders like yourselves across the YMCA movement, to create local solutions to challenges you are facing, and to deliver impact and advance social justice and equity for all. I'm sure everybody on this call has heard all about ChatGPT and how artificial intelligence is going to eliminate so many jobs that we as humans used to do. And I'll admit that this new ChatGPT era that we're entering is scary, but I actually think there's a silver lining. More than ever before, the innately human ability to lead, to collaborate, to communicate, to collectively problem solve, to inspire your colleagues and friends to join will become more valuable than ever before. Those core human abilities that enable a person to be a change maker, to see a problem, design a solution, mobilize and inspire people to take action together to achieve a collective outcome is what will become the most valued skills and assets in the future. And that's why I think you're so lucky to be entering this Change Agent program, because those are the skills you're going to develop. So please take full advantage of the extraordinary opportunity in front of you. Invest your full time, your full energy into this program. And like that story of Calvin Shikuku that I mentioned, take this small opportunity and turn it into a life-changing opportunity. Quickly, before closing and moving into a Q&A, I just want, on a very personal note, and as someone who has been an entrepreneur, I want to encourage you to take advantage of all of these opportunities, no matter how small. Be courageous, take risks, embrace failure. And I will say that everybody needs a little bit of luck, but I can guarantee you that the harder you work, the luckier you will get. I'm wishing you all success on your change-making journey, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more about your personal stories now in our Q&A session. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin, very much for those amazing words. I think it's a great way to start our program. And now, as you said, we are going to go to a small Q&A. So if you have any questions for Kevin, please feel free to type them on the chat. We already have one question, and I will go ahead and ask you. So the first question is, how do you see the trends in the needs of young people changing in the next 5 years?
So I think that, and it was very interesting. So I had a great conversation with Carlos, the Secretary General of the YMCA this morning. We talked specifically about this. And we talked about how we together, YMCA, Generation Unlimited, we were talking to some of the other big organizations, are all starting to mobilize around climate. And I said to Carlos, in fact, I asked him and I said, how do we know this is the right thing to do, where we should be focusing? And he said, Kevin, because it's coming from young people. It's what we're hearing from the young people in our ecosystem. Our strategy is derived from what they care about, what they want. And increasingly, we're hearing more and more about taking care of the planet. There's obvious reasons for that, but also the amazing opportunities that sit on the other side of this. So if you look at the ILO, the International Labor Organization, actually says 70 million jobs in what they call brown industries, so dirty industries, will be eliminated in the coming 10 years. That's scary, except that within the green economies, they're actually predicting 80 million new jobs will be created. So I think not only does taking care of the planet matter for our survival, it also offers extraordinary opportunities for entrepreneurs, for young people to generate new jobs, to create wealth for themselves, their families, to take care of their communities. So I think, you know, what I'm hearing again and again and again from young people is taking care of the planet, and making sure that the economy works for the planet and works for them.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, I agree with you. That's one of the biggest challenges that the young people, not in the future, but now are facing. So that's something that our Vision 2030 through its Sustainable Planet pillar is also working on for the next years. We have two questions. One from our president. It says, where were you born and how did you get started? And the second one is, what is the biggest challenge to see for young people?
So I was born in Montreal, Canada. And how did I get started? I'm presuming that question may have something to do with the entrepreneurial side of my life. So I've done some other things. How did I start in entrepreneurship? Funny enough, I mentioned Calvin Shikuku, this young man who took an amazing opportunity to apply to a Generation Unlimited program. It seemed like a small opportunity at the time, and he's now running an organization 2 years later with 50 employees. Not dissimilar. I just saw, I happened to be working in the international education space, and I happened to be in Taiwan and talked to somebody who, I was there working for a university at the time, but I talked to somebody who wanted teachers and needed teachers from North America. I saw an opportunity just to make a little bit of money by recruiting some teachers, getting them moved over to Taiwan. I didn't know it would turn into a big company and an opportunity that would grow and grow and get to 75 countries and eventually sell to a publicly listed company. It was a small little opportunity. I remember taking my first payment. I flew to Taiwan, and the guy paid me in an alley with cash for the 20 teachers I'd recruited. I remember designing the first little newspaper ad in Photoshop for my computer that we ran in the newspaper to recruit those few teachers. So again, it's a tiny little opportunity. You don't know where it can lead. You chase every single opportunity, work super, super hard. Not everything's going to work. There'll be lots of dead ends, but as long as you keep working really hard and chase every opportunity, I have no doubt, especially with the caliber of people on this call, that you're going to achieve extraordinary things in your life.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We have another question from Mahima. How should we keep ourselves positive and motivated to work for the cause?
A great question. And for me, motivation is about purpose, and finding a deep purpose that aligns with who you are, what you care about, what you want to be in the world. And then every day coming back to that purpose. Because listen, every day is going to have moments of defeat in them, where things don't go right, where what you wanted to happen doesn't happen. And sometimes you can have many days like that in a row. So how do you keep that energy, the motivation, the inspiration, the resilience, the grit that you need? You have to find a deeper purpose and start with that deep purpose and come back to it again and again and again, so you know exactly why you're doing this, because it's not going to be easy. Certainly it's not going to be easy if you want to achieve anything substantial in life. So I think finding a purpose, and for me, my strong advice to you would be to make that purpose not making money, not one day having a big house or a big car. Make it bigger than yourself, outside of yourself, your family, your loved ones, your community, the planet, the world, something that's bigger than you. you'll run out of energy if it's just about these very kind of material things that have to do with you. So look for a big purpose. And then in the darkest days, the hardest days, that purpose is what's going to drive you forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kevin. And now we have to end this section of the meeting. But I want to thank you. I think all of us have really taken all the advices that you have given us, and it has been a great perspective for all our change agents and also our National General Secretary. Some of them are joining today, and they will also be going through this path with our young leaders. So thank you very much. We are really happy to have you here. And yeah, thank you.
Marie-Chris, if I may, allow me to say thank you to Kevin.
Yes.
Many of you don't know Kevin, but for him to spare this time to be with us, he told me this is his YMCA morning. We didn't know this coming. We had an appointment before and then it changed. So his YMCA morning. And Kevin, thank you very much. Thank you for the passion. I've been part of the JNU and I know how much you are mobilizing coalition, organization, private sector, civil society, to make sure that young people have access to opportunity, and all you are doing, we are so grateful to you, Kevin. And there are a lot of things we need to do in the future, but these are the group of young leaders being in training, and these are these people who are going to keep us on our toes. So let's continue to work together.
Amazing, thanks, Carlos. And we really appreciate the partnership with YMCA, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos, and thank you very much, Kevin. Now, continuing with our program, I will introduce Daniel Gallen. We will have now our panel on understanding the impact of the Change Agents program. Daniel has 16 years of experience working with the YMCA. He's the current inspirator of opportunities at the regional node of the YMCA Latin America and the Caribbean, and he's in charge of managing the services and programs developed by the node. Daniel participated in the past task force of the Change Agent program. So please, Daniel, the floor is yours. I know that you will introduce your panelists.
Thank you, Marie-Chris, for this introduction. Muchas gracias. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Kevin, for this amazing presentation. It was amazing to hear your perspective. So it is a pleasure and honor to be with you all. And this is great. So seeing many young leaders and future change agents from many parts of the world. And of course, many close and very good friends. So greetings to all. And well, to start with this conversation, because we are short of time, this conversation that will be focused, as Marie-Chris shared, on the impact of the program. So I want to introduce two amazing leaders that will be joining with me to this conversation. And first of all, I want to introduce Marta Bretska. Marta has been a YMCA volunteer for about 20 years, and now she was part of Change Agents Cohort 1, and she's currently a volunteer member of YMCA Ukraine Board of Directors. So welcome, Marta, and thank you for being with us. And secondly, Siki Niana. Siki is a financial professional. He serves as the National General Secretary of YMCA Madagascar since 2019. He works alongside with his team to promote positive change and youth empowerment in the community. He's interested in technology and have experience working with financial software systems and youth empowerment. Siki is committed to lifelong learning and continuously seeking ways to support youth empowerment initiatives and contribute to the betterment of society. So welcome, Siki.
Welcome. Hi, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, everyone.
So welcome. And to start with this conversation, I have a few questions for you to understand what is the impact of the program. And I would like to start with Marta, asking, why, Marta, did you join the program? What was the feeling you feel or what was that power that for you to start or to join the program in the first cohort?
Thank you, Daniel. I think for my YMCA in Ukraine, it was a very great opportunity for gaining a bigger international perspective and giving us young people a more global idea of how the YMCA operates in different countries. But for me personally, to be very honest with all of you, it was about making friends and building projects together. And it was more about not having to look for some strangers in different countries, but actually have someone, having a friend somewhere in some country with whom you can build a project together. So as simple as that.
Excellent. Thank you, Marta. Yeah, that's great. So I think it is part of the big objectives of the program, a part of the training and the knowledge is to make friends and to have the international framework. Of course, the project have. I think it is important to notice and to highlight the international perspective that in Ukraine you have. So thank you for sharing, Marta. And in order to understand also the senior perspective, the senior leadership perspective, I would like to ask you, Siki, what did your movement choose to actively participate in the program? So by supporting your change agents.
Thank you. You asked me, why did our movement choose to actively participate in the program by supporting your change agent? Why? As a national movement, we have the duty to contribute to the achievement and the setup of our Vision 2030. According to our contact to YMCA Madagascar and our point of view, our Vision 2030 can involve several strategies and approach, including providing education and skill building opportunities, encouraging and supporting entrepreneurship, promoting youth participation in decision making, fostering a supportive environment, advocating the policy that benefits young people. For me, education and training are crucial for young people to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills to succeed in life. It can include formal education, vocational training, and mentorship programs. And in my point of view, entrepreneurship can be great, a way for young people to develop their creativity, problem-solving skills, and confidence. Encouraging and supporting entrepreneurship can involve providing access to resources such as funding, network, and training. Promoting youth participation in decision-making, young people should be encouraged to participate in decision-making process that affects their lives. This can include involving them in community projects, inviting them to join advisor boards, and giving them a voice in policymaking. Being a former change agent, it makes sense that I support this program. Honestly, it meets almost all the strategies and approaches I just mentioned. In short, it's one of the best programs for implementing our vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Siki. Yeah, of course, as you mentioned, so the importance that also young people have the support from the movement. So I think it is key for change agents and future change agents to participate in the program and also receive the support, because they have to a backup for all the journey that they will have in this future cohort. So thank you, Siki, for sharing. And continue with this conversation, I would like also to ask you, both of you actually, what did you gain from the program, from the Marta perspective as past participant, also for you, Siki, from the perspective of the movement, what you both gain from the program?
Thank you. What did we gain? If our community, YMCA, have a youth empowered, we have a more productive workplace. When youth are empowered, they are more likely to be productive members of society. They may be more motivated to pursue education and job training, which can lead to better job prospects and higher income. This can ultimately boost the economy of our community, of our YMCA too. A more engaged citizenry, empowered youth are more likely to become engaged in their communities, participating in activities such as volunteering, voting, and advocacy. This can lead to more active and engaged citizens, which can help improve the overall health and well-being of our community. Innovation and creativity. Youth empowered have innovation and creativity. Youth often bring fresh ideas and perspectives to the table. When they are empowered, they may be more likely to think creatively and innovate, which can lead to new solutions to old problems. And increased diversity and inclusivity. Empowering youth can help ensure that people from all backgrounds and walks of life have a seat on the table. We earn all this, and it seems difficult to realize, but it's a good investment.
Yeah. Thank you, Siki. Of course, as you mentioned, so the new perspectives, the innovation, diversity, inclusion, I think all those things, so you gain, and also the creativity, and also that you power. I think that the key word you mentioned, so the empowerment of the young people you support from this program, and you gain from this program. So thank you, thank you, Siki. And from you, Marta.
I'll just again be very honest with you. I think I'm still processing what my change agent years gave me. And it's been a long time ago, I would say 8 years ago, maybe, when we graduated. And I'm still thinking a lot about all of the impact. And that's already a great sign of how empowering that experience was for me. But to get down to earth and give you more specific examples, I would say, first of all, connections from everywhere in the world. Again, having those faces in your mind, having those real people that you can get in touch with, that you can reach out to and ask for help, or organize a project or an event together, was very meaningful. Second one was definitely understanding of how diverse our YMCAs are, how diverse and different our situations are, yet how similar we are, and how our message and our values are the same. And it definitely all was because of good communication we had and good collaborations we had within the program, within what we had to do as change agents. Then the third one was, and still is, a community we have. And it's not just my first cohort, but it's all the cohorts of change agents. We know each other more or less. We're still in touch with each other. We meet each other. And the fourth one is actually a result of this community, is that we do lead things, and we do help the YMCA make real change. And because of this community we have, we can participate in decision making, we can be parts of boards and communities, and we organize events together, we run different sessions together, we participate in seminars and trainings. So we do it as a team and not as, specific individuals or strangers, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Marta. That's very inspirational. So I think, of course, that diversity we have within the movement, but of course, at the same time, the similar things we have as a big family of YMCA, the same values, same perspective, apart from the part of the world that we are. Thank you, Marta. And finally, to close this conversation, I have a final question for you both also. So, Marta, what will you tell the new change agent participants about how to make the most of it?
Something I would recommend myself. 8 years ago, I would tell myself to jump right in. And I'm with those who are more like on the shy side, more reserved and kind of scared to initiate conversations, and start talking to new people. But I would really recommend starting right away, not to put too much pressure on you though, but really asking questions, initiate conversations, not really being afraid to talk to everyone. And I feel that this program is definitely a privilege, but for me personally, and maybe this will resonate with someone else, it's also a very great serving experience for all of us. And by this, I mean that being change agents is not just being privileged to participate in this program, but also having a responsibility to serve others who didn't get a chance to become change agents, even if they wanted to, or they applied, or maybe they didn't end up applying at all. Just remembering that we are here to learn and then to serve. And let's just encourage everyone who maybe isn't part of our change agents community to still be part of our big youth YMCA team.
Excellent. Thank you, Marta. Thank you also for this invitation for the future cohort. And finally, Siki, so what could you tell other NGS on their support role to participants?
Okay. I invite you colleagues to support your young people. I say it's a good investment. This program has the potential to provide our return on your investment that meets or exceeds your expectation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Siki, and thank you, Marta, for your comments, for your
good luck.
Thank you.
Your words. And well, thank you both for your comments and recommendation to the new change agents that will live this amazing experience very, very close. And thank you also, Marie-Chris. I think we are on the time, and turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Daniel, Marta, Siki. It's amazing to have you in this panel. I think it has given a lot of perspective to all our participants, either they are change agents or NGSs. I think, yeah, your participation was great. And also because you have been directly so involved with the program. So that is amazing. So now we will go to our next agenda point, and I will introduce my colleague Gloria. She will be doing a small program overview followed by our certification process. So Gloria, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Marie-Chris. Hello again, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you here this afternoon, morning, and evening, depending on wherever you're joining the call from. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes just to share with you the program design that has been co-created in the past few months with a team from the World YMCA, with a team from the area alliances, with also a team from external experts. So what are we providing you as change agents when you join the program so that you can also be able to experience a long-lasting impact individually as a person and also in your YMCA, similar to what we have heard from Marta. So the Change Agents 5.0 is going to be an immersive learning experience that is going to provide you with different learning engagements. To begin, we have one. We are going to afford you access to new skills for the 21st century YMCA. How are we going to do this? We are going to incorporate content across 6 main modules under the thematic topics of 1, YMCA history and global governance, Vision 2030, human-centered design, to help you understand how you can be able to apply the practical tools in developing solutions to local challenges you're facing, building partnerships, building movements, and influencing change. We are also going to provide you an opportunity to work with fellow participants on a project, and this is going to be a learning engagement that we will encourage you to take up and make use of by collaborating with your fellow change agents, learn from each other, be able to learn the best practices that people beyond your regional confines are doing, and see how you can adapt that and apply it to your different context. So as part of your learning engagement, you will get to collaborate in groups of 5 to 10 to address a challenge involved in one of the 4 YMCA Vision 2030 thematic areas and develop a project to implement. And we also have an opportunity for you to apply for optional individual mentor engagement. I believe we have done already correspondence or information to each one of you on how you can apply for the mentorship. And so you have an opportunity to be matched with a mentor for the duration of the program. And the mentor is going to help the assigned participants in their professional journeys and also in their personal pursuits. There's also an opportunity to get matched with team champions. And I'd like to acknowledge the presence of many team champions with us today. So as young change agents, you're going to work in action learning teams alongside each team and assigned based on your interest for the focus area and the Vision 2030 pillars. And each team will have 2 champions who are going to be very integral to supporting your team's journey. Make use of this opportunity to integrate and learn from your team champions. Another learning engagement that we are going to provide is the networking opportunity. So we are going to incorporate and use technology to ensure that you remain connected throughout the program journey and you can learn from each other. This is going to be via social media groups, e-learning platforms like YConnect, blogs and newsletters so that you can share information on projects and communities of practice that will facilitate your continuous engagement. And lastly, another learning engagement we will afford you is to facilitate engagement with global leading experts and trainers. One example you have had today is the engagement with Kevin Frey, the CEO from Generation Unlimited. We will ensure that throughout the program, you get to engage with leading experts across the 4 thematic pillars of Vision 2030 and also the different modules so that you can learn from real life case studies. Next slide, Marie-Chris. So there's this saying that says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone, but if you want to walk far, walk with other people. For us to deliver this program for you in the most efficient way and in a long-lasting impact way, we are going to bring on board different key partners who are going to provide different facets of the program and the different capacities. So on this slide, I would like to share with you just different views or different lists of the partners that we already have on board who will help to provide the content and the engagement for the participants. And I'd like to acknowledge partnership from Arizona State University, the Colin James Method, Acumen, YCare International, Clifton Strengths, JobsMall, Convergence Tech, World YMCA Vision 2030 team, Adaptability Q, and Philanthropy University. So to kickstart, to help us understand one of the main partners that we are going to work with, I will take this opportunity to welcome Jan Owen, who is going to introduce a representative from Convergence Tech. Jan has over 3 decades of experience founding and leading a diverse range of national organizations, social enterprises, businesses, and alliances, working and building ventures with young people, advising on strategy and innovation for CEOs around the globe, and providing thought leadership on child and youth advocacy. Most recently, Jan has played a crucial role in providing strategic guidance and support to the YMCA movement in the development of the YMCA Vision 2030. And in addition to that, Jan serves as a special advisor to the Secretary General of World YMCA. Over to you, Jan.
Thank you so much, Marie-Chris. No, Gloria, that was Gloria. I'm looking at you both on the screen. It's wonderful to see you both. And hi, everyone, from another Australian accent tonight, along with Ange. And it's the middle of the night, so we're really staying very awake and trying to be very excited to be here, which it's not hard to be excited to be here with you all. So as Gloria said, we're going to do something that hasn't happened before with a cohort of the Y Change agents. So you are pioneers of a very special opportunity, which I think is amazing, actually. So as Gloria said, we are curating the best that we can find in the world of courses and micro-credentialed and certified skills and capabilities so that you get the latest thinking and the latest tools and skills and capabilities to bring to your work, whether it's your day-to-day work or the projects that you might work on here as the cohort and in your action learning teams. And to do that, we're going to also utilize another piece of technology, which a lot of you will have heard about, which is the digital wallet or a digital passport. And that means that everything that you learn during this process, and every badge and every certificate and every micro-credential that you gain, you are able to load it up into a global passport. You can also stack into that other things like your qualifications that you might be gaining at a university or a school or college, and or from the Y that you are part of, the YMCA that you're part of. So to tell us about that, and also to tell us a bit about the history of this very exciting and very new venture called Convergence Tech, Eric, who's the VP of Product, has joined us. Weirdly, another Canadian, so we're just smashing it with Canadians and Australians tonight. This will be the last time you ever hear from us. And so I'd like to welcome Eric from CT to tell you a little bit about himself and his journey and why he's excited about what it means to have global education and opportunities to share skills and capabilities around the world, and what it might mean for each of you as a result of being involved in Y Change Agents in 2023 uniquely. So hi, Eric, welcome, and over to you.
Okay, fantastic. And thank you very much for giving me the chance to sort of talk about some of this stuff. Yeah, I'm from Convergence Tech. We're a technology company founded in Canada, where I'm dialing in from, as Jan mentioned there. But I think I want to start with just going back a little bit and talking about the company itself. I'm one of the co-founders. So just even that whole journey and sort of the experience of working on things like this, because we're very much about tech for impact and tech for change and those kind of things. And then I can move on to a little bit about the whole idea of digital credentialing and how that's starting to change things in and around education, and then talk a little bit about what we are doing with this Change Agents program as well. So getting down to it, getting to the beginning of it, a bit about my story, a bit about me. I'm from Canada, born and raised in Canada, and always working in technology in some way for about 15 years prior to Convergence Tech. I always saw technology as something that's fascinating, as a way you can kind of augment what's possible with people, as a way you can improve things, as a way you can, yeah, just look at how humans can help shape and change the world in that sense, for better or worse. So it's always been a point of interest for me, and I've always been all about tech for impact. So prior to Convergence, we're always working on government projects in and around environment and climate change, or those sorts of things that can also have impact. But how Convergence actually started then was while I was at government, we got a Tech for Impact hackathon that actually came through. A hackathon focused on blockchain and coming up with ideas for blockchain and things like that. And that was actually run by Chami, one of the other founders of the company, and Adam, one of the partners as well. So it's a great experience for anyone who hasn't been through a hackathon before. I highly recommend it. It's not as much coding as you think. It's much more about creating almost like a venture capital pitch or starting a business or an idea or something like that. So it's a really good way to collaborate with people and learn and go through a lot of things an entrepreneur would otherwise have to do as well, and come up with some great ideas. So I had a great time on that one. And at the end of it, I just ended up hitting it off with Chami and Adam. And we just started thinking about it and saying, okay, well, we're capable with technology. Why don't we just start a company on this basis? Why don't we take it further than a hackathon, an idea, and help people with that, and help companies actually do the same thing? How can you create impactful technology solutions with new and emerging tech? So a couple of years later, we came up with the idea to basically start and go off on that basis. And that started quite the journey for the company from the three of us at the beginning to grow into what we are today. So we started right in and around that period, around 2018, where there was a lot of hype around blockchain and technology, and crypto prices were going crazy at the time and things like that. So there was a lot of people just out there kind of saying, oh yeah, blockchain is going to change the world and all of that sort of thing. We as technologists know that's not true. I mean, mostly it's not the technology that changes things. It's the process or the governance or the people or how people interact with it that changes. And that's the part that's really the impactful thing when you start putting technology into different places. And with that kind of honesty, as we went forward in the Tech for Impact space, we got the great opportunity to get some initial projects with the United Nations on a lot of things, because they then trusted that kind of viewpoint and that whole entrepreneurial spirit and everything that we were doing. So that was quite the experience and the ride for us as well, getting to work with international agencies like the UN. For example, the first few projects we did kind of took us around the world as 3 employees and then a whole bunch of freelancers helping us along the way, as one does when someone's just starting a business. And it took us to places like India to explore, well, how would you use the tech to build something like a land registry? It took us to Afghanistan as well. Very humbling experience to go there and go into a place like that, facing so many different challenges and troubles. And unfortunately, based on recent political events and things like that, things aren't getting much better. But again, it's sort of that element of how can you go into a situation and try and make it better with technology. So we got to do some work there as well. Ended up in Mongolia too. I ended up spending 6 weeks there, I think, working with like nomadic herder communities in rural Mongolia, as well as some places in the city where we were really trying to say, how can we apply technology to help the herders who make much of their money off of livestock and producing evidently cashmere, without going into the details of that, very expensive luxury fiber really only comes out of Mongolia. And yeah, how can we help them make things like certification claims and the like? So real whirlwind tour as we sort of got to go around the world and look at how we can apply tech for change and those sorts of things. We just grew from there, worked in a few different regions as well, opened up an office in Australia, evidently, ensuring that I never get to sleep because now I always have to bridge some 20 time zones. But anyways, along the way, one of the things that we realized, and one of the big focuses of our work was that digital identity is a big problem and credentials in general are a big problem. Like, how do you help people claim things about themselves? Because across all of those different projects, it's always like, who am I dealing with, right? Who's this person? Who are they associated with? Is this claim true? Where did it come from? Do you have the right certifications? Do you have the right documents? That was the biggest problem in a big space here. And that's how digital identity and digital credentials ended up being a big focus of what we do as a company as well. So when you think about it, I mean, that's a pretty big problem when you start talking about the fact that a lot of our access to services in society, be it opening bank accounts, getting support from governments, accessing services, those kind of things, are all based on paper documents or paper degrees or passports or plastic cards and those kind of things. And when you start looking at how many problems a paper-based system has in a digital world, I mean, there's tons of them. So that's some of the bigger picture stuff that we're doing with open identity foundations and communities and kind of how to improve digital identity on the internet. But back down to the lower space of what does it mean to have a digital wallet? What does it mean to have a bunch of digital credentials that you can then verify and show as authentic? I mean, one of the projects that we are working with the YMCA, evidently, and some child and family services agencies in Canada is equipping, just as an example, youth aging out of foster care in the child and family services sector. They have a lot of challenges when they can't manage their identity documents or when they lose their identity documents, getting support for things like housing or subsidies or education and all of those sorts of things. So it's a real barrier. And identity, it's amazing when you start talking about this, just managing all these paper documents and claims and things they lose. They spend a lot of time, even with the social workers, just trying to replace these paper documents so that they can get access to services. So that's one example where, again, putting in digital wallets, putting in digital credentials as one sort of solution is something that's very impactful and that can help them move forward and have a better life and sort of integrate into society in those kind of ways. And very future forward as well, in terms of that's where the world is heading. I'm sure you're seeing in many countries around the world, people starting to move towards digital wallets or digital identities, digital driver's licenses, and those sorts of things. And we're very much in that shift right now, where people are starting to be equipped with this whole idea of, all right, well, what's my life passport? What's my digital passport that shows all my skills and my claims across things like government, from can I drive to am I a citizen of this country, to the academic realm as well, in terms of what kind of skills and capabilities do I have? Because those are things that people should be empowered to carry with them and share as well for their whole lifetime, especially with how education is changing. And that's why we actually do a lot of work in academic credentials in the education sector as well, exactly because, well, education is changing. Quite frankly, it's moving a lot more towards education and training programs like this that blend skills and experience and micro-credentials and rapid learning. It's looking at micro-credentialing. It's not big macro degrees anymore on what's your specialty that took you 4 years to study on. It's more, well, what have you known recently? And what are those composite skills that you've gained along the way that can help you access any industry, which is very much where the job market is going too. Like just talking about in technology as a sector has always been a big proponent of this. And I mean, now if you look at some hiring in Silicon Valley and big tech and things like that, you have companies like Meta and Google and other big ones basically saying, you know what, we probably don't need a degree anymore because it matters more that you can learn quickly and that you can stay up to date with sort of the latest skills and technology. So even there, for some of the job pathways that they have and some of the roles that they have, they're not looking for the big degrees anymore. It's almost like they have these pathways set up to be like, hey, give me this collection of skills. And that might just be take a series of Udemy courses or Coursera courses or online training or content, because that's the big check mark to get you in the door. And then the rest of it is all just proving yourself and your capabilities as a person. And that gets back down to the foundational skills that everyone needs to have around math and communication and critical thinking and all of those sort of elements that broadly speaking have nothing to do with technology, but do have something to do with being a successful employee or a person in that. So that's very much where things are changing. And then that's why we're excited in this case to also be applying the same kind of thinking, these same kind of credentials and the same kind of design around content and learning pathways and everything like that to the YMCA Change Agents program. Because that's exactly what we're doing here. So as Gloria and Jan mentioned, part of this training program is as you gain skills and capabilities, there will be micro credentials. They'll be in this digital credential format, so they're shareable, so they're verifiable, so they can be used to promote yourself and also fit into this future world of digital passports and digital identity wallets and things like that that are starting to emerge as well. The idea being, this is really how learning and training is moving forward in the future. It's gonna kind of be like you have almost a passport for your life and you're just collecting stamps along the way and not anchoring it to any one experience, but looking at the whole lifelong learning journey to say, hey, here's my skills, here's my capabilities, here's everything I've learned along the way, because people are starting to look at this a lot more flexibly as they look at changes in the job market, as they look at being mobile between roles and being moving between companies or careers even, because we are very much, and that's the other element of technology, you've followed ChatGPT at all and what's going on there with the hype, we are very much entering that phase of the best thing that people can do is be agile, be capable, learn and sort of work with drive and energy and purpose towards things, because the world is changing rapidly. So those who can learn and adapt are going to be the ones that can stay at the front of a lot of the opportunities. So yeah, very excited for that element to be incorporated into this program in one element. And otherwise, I just encourage everyone, sort of echoing all the talk that we've had, to sort of get out there and be an agent for change, be an agent for impact. Like when we started Convergence, I was not an entrepreneur. I was just a techie guy with some ideas, right? But as hard as it has been to go through the whole entrepreneurial journey, you learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about resilience. You are forced to change and learn yourself as you go through it, because it is really difficult to try and grow a company. But I mean, stick with it and push through and you can do amazing things, because that's also then that, I guess, evidence of when you have a blank canvas and the world is kind of there for the taking, you can achieve amazing things. I had no idea when I started this at that hackathon, when I was talking to Chami and Adam, that we would then be running across the world, or I'd be speaking to the UN in Thailand or Washington, DC, advising them on digital identity, or yeah, getting out to some of these interesting places to actually work on the ground and try and deploy technology to have an impact and have a change. So just stick at it. A lot of things are possible, and hopefully that just sort of encourages you to go along the way. And anyways, that's some of my story, and happy to answer any sort of questions you guys may have as well. But thanks for the time.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jan, and thank you, Gloria. I think that this has been an amazing space to understand a little bit of what the program will bring. And with Convergence Tech, we are really happy to know that this will be the accreditation process that the YMCA Change Agent Cohort 5 will have. So this is really an exciting partnership that we have now, and that will bring, we are sure that will bring a lot of positive impact to every participant. So thank you very much, Eric. And now we will continue because we're a little bit behind schedule. And this is an exciting time because we are actually going to move into small groups. So this will be the first time that you will be able to meet your team members and some of your champions. Please take into consideration that maybe not everybody is going to be in the call because of the different time zones and all of that, but we are happy that you can get to know each other. So we have some questions. We don't have moderators assigned to these groups, but please take the lead. As you know, we are now in a leadership program, so whoever is in the room, take the lead on getting this work done. So we have 2 questions for the change agent teams. Basically, introduce yourself and what you do in your YMCA, and then what are your expectations with the program. Be ready to report on the team's expectations. And then we also will have 2 small groups with NGSs or support staff who has joined the call today with us, and we will do similar questions. Introduce yourself and what you do in your YMCA, and what are your expectations for the participants of our World YMCA movement. So now I will ask Nikita, who is supporting us today, to please assign the groups. Just here, if you can take a quick picture of the questions for the change agents. So please take a picture so you remember the 2 questions. And Mikita, whenever you're ready, you can please send us into the groups.
I'm ready, so see you in 15 minutes.
I will have 15 minutes for this group work. Thank you very much.
Quarantine. Oh shit. TV. TV.
Great. I see that we are coming back slowly to the main room. I hope you had a great time with your teams, that you had great discussions, and that you were able to get to know a little bit of your group. So as you know, and I said before, not everybody has joined today. In the next steps, we will learn about what's coming next and how you will connect more directly with your teams. But we wanted to give a snippet of what your teamwork will be and how you will be going during this process with the change agents. So I'm glad that everybody is coming back now, and we will go to a small plenary, but because we're such a big group, we have chosen to do a different way to do the plenary. For that, I'm going to ask you all to again get out your second device, and if you can scan this QR code. I've also put in a link in the chat. If you cannot scan it, just go to that link. And we will do a plenary sharing through the Mentimeter. So I will stop sharing here. And if you didn't see the code, you can go to the chat and just click on the link. And the first question is going to be for the teams of change agents, not for NGSs or staff. So the first question for change agent teams, what you can share your team's top expectations, so we will be able to see them. So we see here, and everybody can read as well, they meet new people to learn about YMCA at national and international level, to build connections, making friends around the globe, connecting with others and bringing change agent ideas back to their association, connections and collaboration, learning about the global movement and knowing another members, youth mental health and youth development, network, build confidence, support, meeting new people. Wow, we have a lot of them. Creating change, making new experiences, have youth voices heard in our communities, global connection, gaining leadership skills, collaborating and creating new friendships, meeting people. So you can see here all of the amazing expectations that we have from our change agent teams, members, and this is great to see. Building community. One expectation is that it's bigger than we expected. Yeah, leadership skills, cultural exchange. Yes, you will have that. Learning, make more connections and friends, networking. Let's work to change the world together based on Vision 2030. I like that one. Great. Yes, you're going to be a huge support for all of us to implement Vision 2030 around the world within your local, your national YMCAs, being part of the change, learning new things, meet new people, more international harmony and exchange skills. So this is all great. You can continue putting your expectations there, and we will share them after the meeting as well so that everybody can see them. And now we will go to the next one, which is basically for our friends that join either NGSs or staff support. What are your group's expectations? What did the senior leaders of YMCAs expect from the change agents? So you can go ahead and type your answers into the Mentimeter. We will see. I can share a little bit of what was shared in my group. So some of the expectations were to have young people in leading positions now in the future. We want to see the new talent for the future leading positions, bigger insight, inspiration, and motivation. And now I see some responses here. The cultural exchange, that cohort 5 is afforded opportunities for international networking, to make a new YMCA leader, to engage with the youth, new voices, commitment to empowerment of young people, to share experiences, to learn about youth projects and how to implement them better, to have engaged youth in leadership positions, strong connections, new friends, coaching and speaking opportunities, to have an opportunity to make a difference, global to local and global to local and local to global impact exchange. I like that one, very nice. To work together, to have new projects and leadership, and a generation of change makers. I like that one to finish. And thank you all. You can continue filling in the Mentimeter. It will be open still, but this is, we have some big expectations to fulfill together at the World YMCA team and all the team that is part of this new cohort. So thank you very much for bringing all your desires, your expectations. We really hope that we can meet all of them throughout the program. So now I am really happy to introduce our Secretary General, Mr. Carlos Zambi, who will do a call to action to all of you. So Carlos, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marie-Chris. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. So happy to have you here. I'd like to start to thank the group behind this preparation for the fifth cohort of the Change Agent. I want to mention among you, Ange, Marie-Chris, Gloria, Jan, and the area lead, Daniel, Adriana, Lloyd, Jessica, Olga, Sunita. But I want particularly to say thank you to all the change agents for applying for this program. This is going to be one of the most successful change agent cohort. I want to also acknowledge my peer, the National General Secretary, for taking the time to come to this meeting. And this is a demonstration that the change agent program is not just for young people. You'll be in your corner and do your work, but it's a space for all of us together. But before I be clear about my call to action, for those who know change agent, this is the fifth cohort. Which one do you think is the most successful cohort so far? Which cohort do you think have been the most impact or the most successful? Let me see. Some people say the third one. Third, okay, third. Three. Third, wow, okay. Cohort 2, okay, fine. Fifth will be the best, right? Fourth. Okay, fifth. So in terms of number, third is coming the first. So Marie-Chris, your cohort is not coming at all. Then we see the fifth cohort is going to be the most successful. Thank you very much. You know, when I was growing up from my country as a young person, I'm part of my family, we didn't have something to say. Our parents will decide for us, including what we should wear, what we will eat, where we'll go. All the decisions were made by the community or the parents, and we just need to follow. But now, when I'm growing up, I have my own children. I can't make any decision for my kids. If you make the decision, you will be the only one to handle that decision. But I just learned that it's so important that you put this thing on place and to say, what do you want? What do you think? And I'm so amazed to see some of those new ideas are coming when those decisions are collective decisions, where we use our family as a space where everybody counts, everybody have that. And this is what I'm learning from my own family, but I'm learning also this from the YMCA, to say we are a space. If you look at World YMCA newsletter, papers, you say space, transformation, and impact. We are a space, we are intergenerational space, like today, when you have the new generation of change makers or change agents coming together with existing generation of change agent or change maker, with the leaders of the organization coming together to shape this world we all want to live in. We want a world of justice, a lot of peace. So we are here to make friends, but using this friendship, using this new connection to make a change in our community and a change on the world. Space, transformation, and impact. That impact needs to be tangible. And we can see already, like my president said, at least 25% of the members of executive committee are change agents. And we are seeing this trend over and over. So my call to action to you is this one. Any opportunity comes with responsibility. Any opportunity comes with the responsibility. All the world movements is now here to support you, to make sure that your voice is heard on issues very important to you. We like to nurture this space so that you are better than who we are today, so that you shape the world we all want to see, And that means that you need to be very disciplined about this. This opportunity is going to be one of the best opportunities you will ever have. And the whole world movement is gathering here to make sure that you have that space. So take this time, have fun, but take it seriously. Make it the best opportunity in your life to learn how to make change, not only in your community, but also globally. So we also want to use this opportunity for mentoring and reverse mentoring, because what is the best is when I learn new things from the young people. Those are the best learning from me. And the reason why you could be in the position like me or the National General Secretary is because you can already anticipate what is good for young people. And how do we know what is good for young people? By learning from them. So you are part of this, you'll be mentored by other people who have experience or more competence, but you also need to mentor. So be prepared to reverse, I call it reverse mentoring. Be prepared for that role, and let's join our hands, let's work together because we are working far. Let's make sure that we bring this transformation we are looking for, this movement and from this world. So I hope you will enjoy it, because as I was saying in my group, I tried several times to be a change agent, but I never qualified for this. Hopefully you will teach me how to be a change agent for me to do a better job. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carlos, for those words. I think your support, your leadership is fundamental for the change agents and for the path that the YMCA is taking together with Vision 2030. So thank you. Thank you for that call to action. And now we are getting close to the end of our meeting. For that, I will go ahead and continue with our agenda. Let me share my screen quickly. And now you can see we are going to go through the next steps. And by the end, we will do a nice group photo. So if you are there, please start getting ready for the photo, put on your nice smile. And after the next steps, we will be doing the group photo. And then we will be able to close the meeting. So next steps. In the next days, you will receive an email with your respective teams and team champions information. You will receive information about the e-learning platform and also the pre-survey. This is very important for us to be able to track the progress that is done with the program. So please, we ask you to be responsible and fulfill this survey. On the 11th of April, we will have the opening of the e-learning platform and all the content that we'll be sharing there. And also we will send you instructions about the platform and how you can best navigate and use it for the delivery of the program. We will start with the foundational learning content with module 1, which is YMCA context. You will see all the amazing content that we have for you. Finally, we will follow up with operational requirements. This goes to our change agents regarding the MOUs that need to be sent, and also a little bit about the participation fee that we need to fulfill as well. But more information will come from us, and we will be checking on this next week as well. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite you all to please turn on your cameras. All of you who are able to turn them on, and we are going to do a group picture. That will take a while because we have almost, we have 100 participants, so we will have to do a couple of them. So turn on your cameras, put on your pretty, pretty smiles and happy faces. Oh, I can see so many faces. That's so great. That's amazing. Okay, so I will start, and Bonnie, you are also free to do, but I will also capture some of them. So I will start. So 1, 2, 3, big smiles. And hold them for a bit. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. Great. That was amazing. Thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope you have enjoyed our opening meeting. It was great to have you. And I know today you might have been listening a lot. I hope you enjoy your time with your groups, but in the next meetings, you will be having the chance to talk and get into discussions with everybody and be more active into our meetings. Thank you very much, wherever you have joined us from. We are so excited. We are so happy to have you here, and I hope you have a good rest of the day or a good night for those already at nighttime. Thank you very much and take care.